Well, hello, friends. Didn't expect to see you there. This is TexAgs Rewind. I'm David Nuño. I've got Jackson Moss at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, and we've got Nick Savage behind the glass. Nick, what was your the most intriguing part of the show today?
It was getting to meet Mark French for the first time. I talk to him all the time on Zoom, just like you do, and never seen him in person. So it was cool to see him in the studio, and we got to make that happen more often.
Would you score on him?
No, of course not.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, he was great. Great analysis, having him here in studio. Love talking to him. Jackson, what was your favorite part of the show?
I liked hearing about our wide receiving core. I think that we have something special coming up this year. I think Chris Taylor was kind of covering a lot of stuff that I didn't know about, and especially Isaiah Williams. Didn't know he was as fast as he was, but that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I love John Harris from the Senior Bowl. Not sure he gave the most glaring reviews or the best reviews for our Aggies, but there was some good stuff in there. And what else do we have? That's pretty much it. Oh, Olin Buchanan. Good old Olin Buchanan. All that and more right here on the Rewind. What would it take for a coaching hire for you to say that's an A? Like, is Coach Elko an A hire? No-brainer, guaranteed. I think he's done an A job. But if you were to give out a grade, considering where A&M is, I feel like he's done an A job so far.
Well, I do too. And if they close out Wednesday with Bussey, I think
there might be another.
You can't even argue, because I think he's done an excellent job in the transfer portal. I think he's done as good a job as can be expected in the situation in recruiting high schools.
Yep. I
love his coaching hires, especially the guy we had in earlier this week. And I love the coaching fires he made. So, and again, we talked about what he did to repair relations with the Texas High School Coaches Association. So I think everything Elko has done, to me,
is an A. And
now,
resume, would you say A?
Well, I don't know.
Doing well at Duke sounds A-ish.
I don't know how you can't be impressed with what they did at Duke. He had an injured quarterback this year and almost beat Notre Dame. I think they were inside the 10 when Leonard got hurt and almost beat Notre Dame.
Leonard, by the way, just had surgery.
Yeah, but it's minor.
He'll be back for spring ball.
And you just said he was winning at Duke. And I've said before, David Cutcliffe won at Duke. Steve Spurrier won at Duke. Everybody else in the last 50 years failed at Duke.
So the reason I bring it up, and we're going to go through some of these coaches, 247 has them as a B. I don't have a problem with B.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with B. I think it's of an A, but I have maroon-colored glasses. I'll admit that. Like, I like the guy. I like everything he's done, and I liked it before they hired him. So all those reasons, he's an A. But I'm okay with a national guy giving a B. But I want to make sure they use that same grading system for other coaching hires.
Right.
So, like
Kalen
DeBoer for Alabama, that's an A hire. You know what? I agree with that.
I don't have a problem with that.
Don't have a problem with that at all. This is 247 Sports. I don't have a problem with that at all. Arizona hiring Brett Brennan from San Jose State. He gets a C. Okay, that's fine. I think part of the problem is that we did that song and dance with football a couple times.
Yeah.
Right? And with football, just, new regime, thank goodness, we feel better about it. But, we played that game in 21. Oh, if Haynes King doesn't go down, and there's these ifs that, unfortunately, this program has gone through. Baseball, I think they finished strong last year, considering how it felt mid-season with the pitching. And then, they didn't win in Stanford, but they came so close to it. They left you thinking, all right, I'm okay. We need that from this program. And if that means Sweet 16, or if that means, it does not mean NIT. Let me go ahead and tell you, it does not mean the NIT. They've got to get in the tournament. I think if they get in the tournament and try to make some noise, then I feel, all right, it wasn't the year we expected, but I'm okay with it.
No, totally. And, I talk a lot about, I've been over this many times. I didn't grow up in Aggie. I didn't even grow up in Texas, but I did grow up in the Deep South and SEC territory. And when I talk about, the conscience of the fan base, or, the psychology of the fan base at A&M, it's really unique, because there's this expectation, given the money and the facilities and just, the wide-spanning breadth of this university and culture. And the reality is that at some point you got to punch through. And especially at a football-centric school, there's a trickle-down, right? So, it's so easy. Even if you go on the message board, it's oh, this is just 2021 all over again, or whatever. And so The reality is that across all sports, the level of expectation needs to be met. I think the expectations are there. I don't think the results have met it. And, basketball, it really wouldn't take much. One Sweet 16 and then,
they'll build a statue.
Oh, my gosh, they'll build a statue. And I think get into the tournament this year, right? Talk about raising the floor. That'll be 2 straight years in the tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes things just take off from there. Then we figure out Wade's situation. We figure out Henry. We go find a boots replacement in the portal.
Yep.
And all is suddenly well. Buzz is starting to be talked about as A&M's all-time winningest coach. Is that over the next 3 or 4 years? Could that happen? There's a lot of different, stuff like that could happen. And so I'm still intrigued. I think they can make the tournament.
About Anaya Smith, how did he look this week?
Boy, I wish I had a great report on Anias. In a situation like that, I think the way Anias is going to be used, I think, or should be used, they're probably not going to do that at the Senior Bowl. There were some good moments. There were some good routes that he ran. But to be brutally honest, the quarterback stunk. I mean, I thought the quarterbacks really were not good. Penix was probably the best of all. I thought Spencer Rattler was probably the next best. I thought Bo Nix that was not a good showing for Bo Nix. Maybe until day 3. Day 3, he started getting a little bit more comfortable, but it was just not a good showing for the quarterbacks. And the other thing, too, is when you get in these practice settings, a guy like Anias, I think, is going to be really important at the NFL because of the routes he can run, how he can get open. Well, all of that is in and around running those slot routes and trying to run slot fades. Well, you try to run a slot fade, and these DBs are mauling guys. They're grabbing and clutching, and it's practice. So, then the pass is thrown overhead, and they're like, incomplete. Like, no, dude, that's a 15-yard penalty in the NFL. That's a 10-yard first down in the NFL. So I don't think it was a great showing by Anias, but I didn't walk out of there going, my thought has changed. Oh, no, he can't do it. Had some good moments. I thought he held up more so the second day. I thought Layden was holding up a little bit better. I thought there were some interior guys that really were, shined throughout the whole process. Christian Haynes from out of UConn had a good week. Johnson from Oregon was tremendous. So I thought Layden was okay. Impressive looking dude when you see him up close. I mean, that's one of the great things about being there is, you see these guys on television and really get up close to him and like, whoa, wow, he's striking.
There's so much turnover, right? It is like, if you want to talk about the wide receivers, well, Evan Stewart's not there to talk about, right? Like, he's not the only one. They bring in a bunch of dudes. We want to talk about certain guys. It's like, you need name tags for these players, CT.
It's go back to the day and age where, the guys wore the name tag on the front of their helmet. So guys who knew who they were. So it's hard to keep up with. I mean, one season they're here, the next season they may be in the portal or it's the Wild West. But hey, we've got to stay on top of it.
I can't say that this is going to be, if I were a coach, I would handle it exactly like this. But if I got players that constantly use social media to drive up transfer speculation, I'm done with them. And I don't need them around. To me, there's no good that comes from it. And either they're leaving or eventually leaving.
Yeah, and I don't follow all the threads and stuff from Georgia and some of those programs, but it is frustrating, especially as a coach. You have guys that you go and recruit, and you think that they're there for a very specific reason. And let's face it, NIL, it comes big money and guys able to cash in on their name, image, and likeness. So I understand that portion, but to play into who's the highest bidder and try to find out who's going to pay me the most money. That's the frustrating part about this new college football world. But I think it's here to stay. I just think you need to put some bumpers on it a little bit. And I think it can be good for both sides. There just has to be I think you got to rein it in just a little bit to make sure that both sides are going to be happy.
CT, let's talk about the wide receiver group in general, and then we'll kind of break it out with certain players that I'll throw out at you. Yeah. But what do you think about that group minus Evan Stewart, but with some of the additions that they've made?
I mean, you've got guys that have made plays all season, and coming down the stretch, last season, when you have a guy that was not on the field for whatever reason, you had other players in that group, Jade Walker being one of them that stepped up.
Mr. Moss, I know you're going to tell them to like, comment, and subscribe, but what else can they do? Rate and review, maybe?
Follow us on all social medias, on Twitter, TexAgs Radio.
So the other day, Luke said if we would have gotten to 14,000 subscribers by a certain time, he would have shaved a line in his head.
We didn't even sniff it.
No, we didn't sniff it. So what can we do to you?
How does this reflect me?
Well,
now?
David, I have an idea. Since he's so fit and has such great endurance, let's see. Why don't we make him do a Murph? Yeah, you like that?
I think we can probably get fired because he's an intern, having him do these kind of things. That being said, if you volunteered on your own time to do a Murph, we wouldn't get mad at you. Or maybe we can just do a 40-yard dash. We can both do it in 7 minutes.
Yeah,
sound good?
It's really a scheduling thing. I got to figure out when I can squeeze in another Murph into my schedule.
Yes. Are we talking to Luke? That's what it feels like. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.